sitting cozily in bed. Yeah, I know. He's got a careful.
Oh, I got it. It's okay.
Ton of magazines, thousands of dollars worth of. Okay, got a green light.
Got a green light.
Okay.
Got volume. Everything's great.
Everything's
I
fine.
don't want to hit the camera, so.
Okay.
Looks like the cord is on. Play. Don't you move.
I won't.
Oh, there's great shot of Greg coming in here.
Okay.
Okay.
As you can tell, we've relocated. We're now inside my roommate Jeff Hyde's bedroom, which is only fitting since we're using my roommate Jeff Hyde's video camera. We've stolen all his lamps. We have cables stolen all over the place. We've knocked his magazines all over the place. So
We can see ourselves on the TV too, John.
yeah, a mini monitor. You know what we should have done? Hook that up.
No, because then you play the monitor. You know what I mean?
Oh.
I mean, you start looking at yourself and stuff.
Yeah. Took my glasses off.
We can look at the camera.
director advised me that these lights were sending off a horrible reflection, and you would be able to see yourself through my eyeglasses. Anyway, where we were, Greg was talking about one time he drew up a list of all the women he had been with, or something.
Right. Yeah. Two things I want to talk about. We didn't mention before: surfing, which I'm an avid fan of. I am happy in that respect. Getting better at it. I can go left now reasonably well. I drew up a list of all the girls that I had made a play for, which involves calling up and asking out and pursuing. You know, some steps were taken. In other words,
those
some
three steps. You had to call them up.
Yeah.
And ask them out and decide to pursue them.
Yeah. And
that was how they made the list.
Yeah, that's how they made the list. The others were just girls that I said hi to or something. But some girls that I actually put an effort forward on, a real effort, not just some passing thing. In other words, a second or third movement of some solid position. Okay, and by 1976, there had been about 100 of these girls. And I figured out that I made a target, and the ones that were in the very center were the ones that I got laid by. And out of 100 girls, there were only 5. And in each one of those cases, it was like 1 or 2 times. And that's in a span of like 7 or 8 years.
You're as efficient as a nuclear reactor.
Efficient as a nuclear reactor. John, what I was trying to do was I was trying to figure out what are you doing wrong, because this dribble of what I was getting, you know, was just like I was lucky to get that, and I was going, what can you do to improve your odds here if this is what you really want, which is not necessarily what I want. I just wanted to find some type of steady,
This was a decision you reached in 1976?
77 maybe. I was at the Alvarado.
So you've had at least 5 years to
decide.
Well, what conclusions have you reached?
Well, the conclusion I reached that the amount of money I spend on a woman has nothing to do with whether or not I succeed with her. Because
always true.
Because the 5 that I'd gotten the farthest with or gotten to bed with, I had spent very little money on.
Do you include Mary Jo in that?
I never had sex with Mary Jo. Mary Jo has been in my apartment, by the way. Mary Jo is a girl that he and I both know, comes from all the way back to my first grade class, and our high school, and my college. And but she's very sweet, and you have not really ever met her.
She was in my French class in high school, but nobody's ever met her.
Okay, he is involved off and on, I guess, I don't know, with a girl who reminds me slightly of Mary Jo, who I've met, is Meg, except not just physically.
Yeah.
Give or take a few pounds repositioned,
Mm.
But they have certain similarities physically, but none psychologically. Or
Meg is not the sweetheart, the acquiescent sweetheart that Mary Jo is.
Mary Jo is acquiescent sweetheart. How can I describe Mary Jo? Mary Jo is very sweet, and she is not the 4-letter word that I usually describe most women at all. She's, and I told her that. I just said,
"You're not a cunt." You told her.
I said, Mary Jo.
Did she take that as a compliment?
Things go. That girl is. she doesn't listen. I don't know what her. She's in another world. The girl is just spaced. I mean, the girl is 30 years old and she's never been late. Okay, and I've worked on her, and I'm not the guy to do it.
Now wait, you did go to bed with her.
I went to bed with her several times, but
didn't screw her.
I was not able to. Physically, psychologically, we're both handicapped people. I told her that we're made for each other. We're made for each other. We're both cripples, sexual cripples. Listen to this man. He's coming in. Oh, God. Doesn't this look weird? 2 guys in bed like that? I mean, Randy, get out of this personal stuff. That's why it's going on a videotape
for posterity.
For teleprompter.
Show it. We're going to show it to Jerry's children. Since we're never going to have any.
Since John and I will never have any. Did you know that a lesbian couple just vowed to have, what's the right word? Anyway, she artificially inseminated herself, and she's going to have a child. And nobody can stop her. But homosexual men, there's no way they're going to be able to adopt a child, not for 10 years.
Speaking about artificial insemination, I was reading somewhere or another, there was a lesbian discussion, and I don't know why I was reading it, maybe cunnilingual tips or something. But they mentioned
I don't like that, by the way.
There's, it doesn't surprise me.
Well, it doesn't smell good, you know? I mean, I don't know.
It's not like Thanksgiving Day, that's for sure.
It's not like Thanksgiving Day.
Hello, ladies. What was I saying?
Something about an article, right?
Oh, yeah. That you don't have to go through the needless expense and anxiety of all the screening process when you go to a artificial inseminating, a sperm bank.
Yeah.
Because you've got to go in and prove certain things, and you've got to pay money.
Yeah.
So what these lesbian women were saying was that you can just get your homosexual guys to jack off in a little bottle or something.
Sure.
And then you use a turkey baster.
I thought you'd use one of those syringes that they do to give themselves a douche or whatever the hell.
No, a turkey baster is what they specifically recommended. And
they can get pregnant from that?
From turkey basters, yes.
Turkey kid.
Yeah.
Look what's in the oven.
Yeah. Gobble this up.
Gobble
and they recommended, it was really funny, they recommended that the woman rest on her back with her legs up so that the sperm would all find its way through herself, and it wouldn't dribble messily onto her legs. Lesbians, I guess, don't like that.
Wow. What a new world we're coming into here. Imagine the kids of the future. And I'm not going to have any kids. I haven't had the...
If your father was a turkey baster, you'd be...
I have a real mother and
God,
father.
if you were a lesbian mom and you went the turkey baster route, would you tell your child the process by which he was brought into the world? See, I had this faggot jack off in a jar, and then I took a turkey baster and shoved it in my cunt.
Yeah.
Stood on my back for 4 hours and let it dribble.
Yeah, how would that kid feel about... And then she wouldn't even know who the guy with the gay guy was or whatever. Or, you know, because... Well, maybe she
possibility.
Would. Yeah, you know. But, this woman who got herself artificially inseminated, I think she just got it out of a frozen cryogenic tub, and nobody...
Bird's eye.
Yeah, bird's eye, and the kid will never know who his father is. You know, I guess it's not important anymore. I used to have this fantasy that my genes will be passed on to a gangload of kids. This is working, we got that on. And these children will be, I was going to name them after Greek gods, you know, or Roman gods, Zeus, Aphrodite, Penelope, you know, Sheila, Bonnie Bray, you know, Jason the Argonauts. And these people were going to rule the earth, not rule the earth, this is another power trip, but these kids would inherit all my talents and everything, and they would go on and foster, you know, new space explorers and scientists and all this crap.
But now Greg just wants to name his children Sisyphus.
Sisyphus. God, no, I've decided that my genes should not be passed on to anyone, because I just don't have what it takes to operate in the real world, or this world. And you know, to bring...
Maybe what you should do is have the kids but not raise them. Have nothing to do with them.
Have nothing to do with raising... Well, I really don't think you could affect them anyway, because all you could do is maybe direct the kids' interests a little bit. But let me put it this way. If I'd been brought up on Skid Row... I lived on Skid Row, what are you talking about? But if I'd been brought up there and people would have said, hey, take this is good for you and all this, I would have always questioned it, because I have a naturally paranoid mind. Like, why are you telling me this? And why is this good for you? And there's got to be a conservation of energy and matter, and if I'm taking all this shit, I'm going to have to pay for it someday. So I don't think I would have gotten hooked on the drugs, and I don't think I would have gotten in touch with the police. Sterno. Yeah, I mean, I think I would have ended up almost the same as I am. There was no fantastically weird thing that made Greg turn out to be a Huntington Beach bum, which is what he is. I've always liked to surf. I've always gone for crazy stock market, movie business, satellite killers, ray things. I mean, I've always been that way. You know, right? You said that. You said I was always obsessed with something when I was younger. But I'm not... Hey, you know, I haven't talked about the stock market that much, have I?
No. You once you pass an obsession, you seem to return to normal pretty fast. But you get real depressed.
You get real depressed. Well, I don't know if it was the market.
He lives for obsessions.
Well, I get involved, and I get intensely involved with something.
Yeah.
And well, the thing I like about surfing is I have control over that. Even the market, I have control over when I buy and sell. It is an emotional thing and something you've got to kind of go through, if you've never been through a situation where, hey man, I'm losing $2,000 today.
A minute.
A minute. It's falling like a rock. What do I do? Do I sell or do I take a chance and that maybe they'll go back up again?
Play it cool.
Play it cool. Yeah, you've got to know. And so far, I've really been right. I sold Time. I told you that I own Time Incorporated.
I didn't know you did. Time.
It's right next to Time's Mirror in the listings, just like he works for. And they own cable TV, and so does Time Life Publishing.
Yeah. Who? They own HBO or something.
They own HBO, and they own People Magazine and a bunch of other stuff, cable and stuff like that. And I bought them, and their earnings went down, and the thing was falling like a rock. And I sold it, and I lost $750 in
Mom,
2 days.
$750
in 1 day. But wait, I have other stocks that are up now, that are countering that. But
he's got to say that.
That stock fell very hard, way down, and hundreds of thousands of shares, and people bailed out of it. But somehow I knew that I should have gotten out of that one. And hey, by the way, Xerox is a good buy right now. They had lower earnings.
But you said you'd never buy Xerox.
I said that because they have good equipment and they can't sell it. And why are we talking about the stock market again? None of this stuff is important.
You wanted to talk about surfing.
Surfing, right. I live in Huntington Beach, love it. I love to surf. People don't understand why or something. I don't know. It's cheap. It doesn't cost anything. It's fun. If you don't like it, great. You shouldn't do it. Other people say, like skiing. They go, oh, you must do skiing or you must do sailing or whatever. Skiing to me is the biggest hassle of all time. Chains on the tires, avalanche. 6 people were just killed. Cold. Very expensive. A lot of stuck-up SC sorority girls in those condos.
A lot of casts, broken legs.
Casts, broken legs, and Mammoth. I mean, we're pointing out all the bad things. But, I mean, if somebody said to me, hey, I really don't think I want to do skiing, I'd say, I'm with you. And if somebody said to me, hey, I really don't want to do surfing, I'd say, hey, I understand that too, because it's cold, it is dangerous, and I don't think it's nearly as dangerous as skiing. It is a pain in the ass. I mean, to get up there early in the morning or whatever, and you got to know what you're doing, and you've got to paddle, and it's a lot of work, and it may take months before you ever even stand up once. But I've been doing it for years, and
you can stand up now.
I can stand up now, going either way, going to the right or going to the left.
Do you face the same way, or?
No, I switch my feet.
So you're always facing into the wave now?
I'm always facing the wave, which is really the best way of doing it, because that way you have the most control and the most visibility. But it is hard to. It's like boxing. If you lead with your left hand, which is the normal for most right-handed people, right? Well, put it this way: it's like writing with your left hand. If you write with your right hand, can you write as well with your left hand?
No.
Right. Okay. Well, that's the same thing in surfing. It's like going to your right. You lead with your left foot, and you're going to your left. You lead with your right foot. It's just like being able to write as well with both hands, ambidextrous. And that's difficult to learn. But I'm going left now on reasonably good-sized waves. I always have, but a lot of times I've just been lucky. Now I'm getting to the point where it's...
Now it's skill.
Yeah, it's more skill, I guess. But it's still, I don't look like Sean Thompson or Robert Bartholomew. Those are the best guys in the world. What have you got here?
Inside this magazine, there are wonderful things. Is she pretty? She's real pretty. You know what she does for this magazine? She takes off all her clothes.
And what is she?
How about this?
Give it the big shot. Give it the... just put it in front of your face. He wants to, let me tell you. Do you know something that's really sad?
Why do they look?
This stuff doesn't turn me on anymore, folks. Okay?
It actually doesn't turn me on either.
And you know what? The other problem I got is when I see girls like this, I go, I don't think of pleasure. I don't say, oh, there's something that I know what that feels like. I go, that's pain. That's a hassle. I equate it with
Barbara Carrera,
God.
old friend.
Oh yeah. Good Lord.
She and I were in physics at MIT together. We got physical.
We got physical.
Here she is again. She's so sexy. She's
John.
great.
Okay. Put it away. I think it's just as you get older, you. Of course, some men have the desire for women their whole life, and I think if I was getting laid every day, I'd be hooked on it. But when you aren't, it just... And these pictures of these girls when they were little girls, they aren't that good looking sometimes.
No, Playboy's really dumb. There's much better magazines.
Yeah. Well, what I don't like is just that I feel it's impossible. And there's no reason to, I don't have control, or I like to have control over my destiny. If I want to take a certain wave, if I don't want to go out, whatever when it has to do with surfing, I can do it. But I have no control. I feel that way with these kind of women.
With any women, Greg.
With any women.
You never have any control.
What about you?
Never have any control. But
well then wait a minute. How do you manage to get what you want? Or get John, you're sitting too far over.
Oh.
You must take control. Okay. I could have control, but a lot of them I don't.
It's sexual judo. You have to.
Okay, then there is a skill involved. There is some game playing involved. We never would admit this, but now you finally.
You have to.
Girls tonguing each other.
Boy.
Girls boobing each other out here.
Yeah.
John, these people they can't see that.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
So look at this.
It's kind of dark. You may not be able to see it. They shot this in crummy light and.
Well, that's a good shot.
Can you see that? I mean, does that?
It's like Tom Snyder was. Let's get a shot of this.
They
never could hold
it
steady.
They lose it in the glare.
What is she doing in the ass?
Here's some better ones. Here's
oh
some
God.
Greg doesn't care about this. Doesn't do a thing for him.
No. Well, I'll tell you something. When I was in Hollywood, and there were all these girls, and if you got in the right position, physically or whatever, economically, you could get all these girls to fuck you, if they thought you were a casting director or in the movie business. But I had this incredible problem.
You were honest.
No, it wasn't so much that. It was that I didn't get anything. I didn't get any thrill or high or good feeling out of making anybody do something that they really would rather not do. You follow me? In other words, these chicks were doing this, but they'd really rather have not done it. And
that's
you knew it.
Not so. That's probably not so.
Oh, you mean you think they really wanted to fuck
I think
first?
there's more women out there that want to screw than don't want to screw.
Well, no, I didn't mean that. I meant the girls who were fucking to get the jobs on the shows.
Oh, yeah. But what could you have promised them anyway? Hey, I'll write a script for you, baby. You just play your cards right.
No, there were people that I knew that I could have brought them with me when I went to certain agents and things like that. It couldn't have hurt them. They would have had to fuck the agent too. But in other words, it wasn't so much that I was a complete chump, that I didn't take advantage of certain contacts and advantageous positions I was in, or I could have made myself look a lot more legit than most guys, in Hollywood, because I did really know people and I did know the business and understand it, and I really was writing scripts and stuff like that. Well, that's very unglamorous, but it's a very powerful position if you ever succeed at it. Can be monetarily very powerful, with the money you could make. But I just got turned off by the kind of people that are in Hollywood. But it was a good lesson, because those kind of people are in every business, and there are some ruthless fights in the real big business world, stock market business. Like I told you, a guy lost $25 million in Tosca Corporation. He's out of his mind, and he wants to throw all the board of directors out. And they're having a huge proxy battle, and I swear to God, it has all the markings of like a gang fight. And I'm surprised people aren't murdered or contracts taken out on them and stuff like that in the business world. And it probably comes very close to it. But I think you have the temperament. These people, these big businessmen, you know why? If he loses that proxy battle, or the directors do and they're thrown out, either way it goes in the Tosco Oil Corporation thing, neither of those people will actually resort to violence. They will go to massive lawsuits and everything like that. But they will never resort to violence, and it's because these people have gone through their lives fucking people over. And when they finally get fucked over themselves, they're kind of like due for it. I really feel like they really...
They're resigned to it?
Yeah, I mean...
well.
It's got to happen to me someday, too. And they probably did get screwed over a lot when they were younger or just starting, you know what I mean? And got taken and things like this. Now they're cheating people, and they're cheating back. And the problem I think I really have, this is my temperament, is I don't really feel I've ever really cheated anyone. There's no way I really could have. I didn't have any money or anything like that to do it with.
Nothing anybody wanted. No scripts.
I had nothing, no scripts like that. But I mean, I never got a good feeling out of it. There's probably people I could have taken advantage of in certain ways, but I never would have gotten a good feeling. I don't get high out of that. Whereas I do think some people get a good feeling out of really ripping somebody off, getting a real bargain on something more than they really needed to, or cheating, really not paying someone is what they should have or what they deserve.
We are not going to get too philosophical about this.
Yeah,
this is just kind of a soft spot in the dialogue. We're going to get back to the funny stuff in a minute.
Yeah, what is the funniest? We were talking about women.
Women are funny, but we've kind of killed them off. I mean, we've showed you a ton of women stuff.
Well, John is bored with women because he has so many of them. He's just tired of them, and I'm bored because I haven't had any, so I don't, I can't relate to it, right? So we're almost the same boat.
Yeah.
You're bored and I'm bored.
Yeah. So
You know, overindulgence and underindulgence for the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
John's never set me up with any chicks though. I gotta thank him for that. Oh no, wait, that was a nice setup, wasn't it? With Susan and Meg came over to your apartment one time.
There's no setup though. I mean, those two.
No.
They were just.
No, but they were just two friends, and you and I are friends.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as bad as when I had you go over to see. Do you remember this girl?
Oh God. I've
Oh,
never felt so
God.
bad. I mean, that was a horrible day.
Well, that cunt told me
Horrible day.
that this girl that I knew that was very pretty and very stuck up and a real asshole, said that her girlfriend looked just like her and people thought they were sisters. And why don't I bring over a friend and all the four of us will get together? So I did, and boy, was she ugly.
I walked in and I wanted to turn right around. This was one of the ugliest cows. Well, she wasn't ugly. She was just plain and obnoxious.
But you saw the one that I showed at the door. She was attractive.
Real pretty. And I had my
Yeah.
hopes up.
Well, she was worthless too because she was out of reach.
But boy, did I wanted to get out of there. I don't think I even said a word to her.
No, I don't think you did. And we did get, I promised you we would leave. And we didn't
Yeah.
stay too long.
Yeah. Oh, it was only miserable for about
Yeah.
a short while.
Because I told him, I said I will not stick
When
to you
was that? What was I doing? It was before I got laid, I think.
before he got laid.
Yeah.
God, John.
When was that?
You were getting laid when you were 12 or something.
15.
15.
First time.
First time, and she didn't get pregnant. Okay. God. You know, that's what stopped me on so many. Because they've wanted to get
It's
pregnant.
not one thing, it's another.
What, that's stopping me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, remember
They want to get pregnant?
the beautiful. Remember the cute girl who had just turned 18 finally, who was teasing me all the time. I called her the pregnancy bomb
at the
hotel,
Alvarado?
whose father
Said he'd cut your nuts out and make a cunt?
he said I'll cut his nuts off with a shiv and carve a pussy where his balls used to be. In describing this one guy who had made him pay his rent on time. Now, for me to fool with his daughter. Who was in love with me
And wanted to be fooled with.
Called me up on the phone after she married some guy and said I was in love with you, you know, and yeah, wanted to be fooled with. Yeah, wanted to be fooled with. I just thought about it. I just thought, you know, and I shouldn't have thought about it. But every time I've taken these chances, man, I've ended up with a close friend, like John, not as close as John, but remember Mark Robinson and I were close friends. Okay, and why I've never let a woman come between me.